Assalamu alaikum students. Today we are starting our third chapter, which is the climate of Pakistan. Before knowing the climate, we should know what the atmosphere is. Atmosphere of the earth is the layer of gases retained by earth's gravity. Now again, the climate has two conditions. One is seasons and the other is climate. Now what is the difference between season and climate? The atmospheric condition for a shorter period is known as seasons. As you notice in Pakistan, there are 4 seasons for the duration of 2-3 months, while the climate is the atmospheric condition for a longer period of time. It is usually measured if atmospheric condition of a country remains the same for at least 30 years, then they confirm that the climate of the country is this. For example, the climate of Pakistan is dry. Why? Because in Pakistan they have noticed that for 30 years the atmospheric condition remains dry. That is why the Pakistan is considered as a country of dry climate. Pakistan is a big country, so the climate of different areas is not the same. For example, during summer, plain areas are hot, so that is why people move towards the northern areas, Murray, Nathia Gully and northern hills. The rate of rainfall and degree of temperature are different in different areas of Pakistan. During summer, the wind blows from sea to land, while in winter the wind blows from land to sea, and that is why the winds blow due to the change in seasons. That is why these winds are called the seasonal winds. Now in Pakistan, the seasonal winds are called the monsoon winds. There are 2 types of monsoon winds: the monsoon winds of summer in Pakistan and the monsoon winds of winter. The monsoon winds of summer, these winds blow from sea to the plain areas. Why? Because in summer the temperature is so high, up to 50 degrees centigrade, so that the heat up air is light in weight. That is why it just rises in the air, and that is why the colder air of the sea moves towards the plain areas. That is why the monsoon winds of summer always blow from the sea to the plain areas. In Pakistan, the monsoon winds of summer blows from Arabian Sea. Now the monsoon winds of the winter. In the months of December, January and February, the sun rays fall slanted on Pakistan. Because of this reason, land areas become cold and the air above also becomes cold and heavy. On the other hand, the temperature of sea water rises and turns the air above the sea into warm air. That is why in winter we can see that the wind blows from the plain areas to the sea. This is the main difference between the summer monsoon winds and winter monsoon winds. In summer monsoon winds, the wind blows from the sea to the plain areas. Because the plain areas wind is warm, that is why it becomes lighter, rises up in the sky, and that is why the cold air moves towards the plain areas. While in the monsoon winds of winter, the plain areas air remain cold because of the slanting rays of the sun, and the sea winds rises up because of the heat. So that is why the wind blows from the plain areas towards the sea. Topic is cyclone. Sometimes the winds start blowing in circular motion, which is called a twister. But if this circular wind covers area of several kilometers, then it becomes a cyclone. Now how the cyclone forms? Because of the sunlight, the temperature rises, and if the temperature rises, as we discussed before, the wind becomes lighter and it rises up, and the wind pressure decreases, but the surrounding areas temperature remains cold. That is why that cold wind start moving towards the area of the decreased pressure, and that is how the cyclones are formed. Now let's discuss the climate of different physical regions of Pakistan. In our previous lectures, we have discussed those regions in very much detail. Now we will be discussing the climate of these regions. Our first region is northern and northwestern mountainous region of cold climate. As you know that this region lies to the north, that is why the weather here is extremely cold. In this region, the northern and northwestern mountains areas are included. Here winter season is severely cold and snow falls usually. Here high mountain areas like Swat, Chitral, Koh Safed, Waziristan, Mari, Hazara, Quetta and Job are located. Summer season remain moderate here because it's a cold area, and the people from plain areas usually visit these northern areas in summers. Our second region is the subtropical continental plateau type region. If you remember, this region includes the northwestern part of Balochistan. In the month of January and February, less rainfall take place. The weather remains hot with frequent dust storms during this month of February and September. In the whole area except high mountains, the summer are very hot. Why? Because as we discussed before that Balochistan was a plateau. That is why the weather here is not very cold. Okay, now the third tropic is the subtropical continental low region. This region includes plain areas of Punjab and Sindh. Here the summers are very hot, but the temperature falls considerably during the winters. The weather remains pleasant during the month of February and March. Monsoon rainfall occurs during the month of June, July and August in various cities like Lahore, Faisalabad, Khushab, Sialkot, Gujarat, Gujranwala and Rawalpindi. Our fourth tropic is subtropical coastal region. Coastal region are located where the region includes the coastal areas of Sindh and Balochistan. Here the climate remains hot and humid all the year. Due to the coastal effect, humidity level in the air remains very high and the summer season remains moderate. Usually rainfall does not take place, but due to cyclones, heavy rainfall occurs. Okay, our next topic is greenhouse effect and global warming. If you have seen a nursery of plants while going to school, you might have observed that the saplings are kept in the rooms made of plastic sheets. These rooms are called greenhouse. In fact, the sun rays entering these rooms are trapped inside, due to which the temperature of the rooms is increased. This is called the greenhouse effect. These are usually made in nursery to trap the sun rays inside this house just to grow the plants well. This house is called greenhouse, where the plastic sheet, the plants are covered with plastic sheets to trap the sun rays, and trapping the sun rays, the process is called the greenhouse effect. Similarly, the human activities are resulting in an increase in the quantity of carbon dioxide gas, dust and smoke in the environment. As you know that there are so many factories and cars and vehicles, all these produce the carbon dioxide gases in the environment. Therefore, the temperature of the air has also increased. This increase in temperature is called the global warming.